Welcome to the DVD Shelf Movie Reviews, where movies are celebrated, not incinerated. Oh, hey guys, David Rose here, and I'll be with you in just a second. Just doing a little web surfing here. I just got done watching Lars and the Real Girl, and let me just say, it was inspiring. First off, it's an interesting little film about a guy who has a relationship with a love doll he buys off the internet. We've all been there, right? It's a funny, likable story that does a good job at executing what could have been a pretty ridiculous premise. But most importantly, the film was really informative. Let's go to Google here. It really does exist. RealDoll.com, home of the world's finest love dolls. You see, in the movie, Ryan Gosling plays Lars, a delusional introvert who orders one of these dolls off the internet and soon develops what he believes to be a true relationship with the doll. Here, watch this while I do a little snooping around.
My little brother is crazy, right? I mean, he's crazy.
If I may, he appears to have a delusion.
What the hell is he doing with a delusion? She loves kids. Fantastic. When will it be over?
When he doesn't need it anymore.
How'd you know?
How did I know what?
That you were a man.
You grow up when you decide to do right. And not what's right for you, what's right for everybody, even when it hurts.
You're not gonna go to work today, Gus?
I don't feel good.
Well, Bianca could help you, she has nurses training.
Select eye color, hazel green. Ah, damn, back already. I wasn't just about to pick out a hair color. Brown. In this episode, we'll talk a bit about the background of the movie Lars and the Real Girl, then we'll take a look at the DVD and its bonus features. Then, I'll give my final recommendation of the film using this rating scale, ranging from 1 disc, being just downloaded, all the way up to 5 discs, being a must-own movie. So, to get you guys the hell out of here so I can continue my online shopping, this is Lars and the Real Girl. Directed by Craig Gillespie, and starring Ryan Gosling, Emily Mortimer, Paul Schneider, Kelly Garner, and Patricia Clarkson. It was released theatrically by MGM Studios on October 12, 2007, the DVD was released on April 15, 2008, and the Blu-ray version was released on April 5, 2011. To start off, Lars is certainly an interesting and complex character to follow throughout this film. He's mysterious yet charming, frustrating, and completely one of a kind. And even though he appears to be a fully realized character in the script, Ryan Gosling completely fleshes him out with his performance. I've been aware of this guy in other films, but with this one you can definitely see why he's becoming a very sought-after actor in Hollywood. Before starring in this film, his other major credits included Remember the Titans, The Believer, The Notebook, and an Oscar-nominated lead actor role in Half Nelson. But I can actually recall him from a long time ago in old episodes of both Nickelodeon's Are You Afraid of the Dark and the Goosebumps TV series based on the popular kids' horror books from the 90s. But even earlier than Goosebumps, Ryan Gosling was a featured performer in the early 90s revival of the Mickey Mouse Club, along with Britney Spears years before Auto-Tune, Christina Aguilera years before Booze, and Justin Timberlake years before she was bringing sexy back. In the late 90s, Gosling starred in Young Hercules, a short-lived, kid-targeted spin-off of that popular Hercules show that starred Kevin Sorbo. Now ironically, Young Hercules goes on to later receive an Academy Award nomination, yet just last week, the original Hercules bagged my groceries. Since Lars, Gosling has gone on to star in the well-received independent film Drive, Crazy Stupid Love with Steve Carell, and The Ides of March with George Clooney. He also received a Golden Globe nomination for his much improvised lead role in Blue Valentine. In Lars and the Real Girl, Gosling plays the title character as an antisocial introvert, and we're given the impression that he might not be playing with a full deck of cards.
That, my friends, is the one true law. Love is God in action. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all now and forevermore. Amen. Amen.
But what's interesting about the film's portrayal of Lars is that he isn't just downright mentally ill or handicapped, but a sensitive, mysterious figure that seems to have dealt with some serious trauma in his past. Gosling gives Lars these facial tics that play on the idea of him maybe going through some sort of mental illness, but at the same time, he is able to keep a decent job and take care of himself. He does, however, live in a dark, dank garage behind the house of his emotionally distant brother Gus and his pregnant wife Karen. Karen constantly tries to invite Lars over for meals day after day, but he always turns her down.
We want you to come for dinner. Will you come?
I can't.
Oh, why not? No. Why not? Come on, Lars, we miss you.
Yeah, did you hear that? That's my phone, I think.
No, come on, wait, Lars, stop. Oh. Come on, please.
I have other plans.
One night, however, Lars seems to be in high spirits and asks Gus and Karen if it's okay if he brings a new guest over for dinner.
I have a visitor.
You have a...
Now?
Yeah.
A visitor?
That's great.
Yeah. And she's not from here.
She?
Yeah.
Wow, what do you know? Where did you meet this person?
On the internet?
Yeah, well, everybody's doing that now. That's great.
Lars explains that she is a disabled Brazilian missionary named Bianca, but much to their surprise, Lars arrives with a lifelike love doll he had purchased on the internet and is treating her like a real person.
Are you hungry?
We're starving.
Gus, will you give me a hand in the kitchen?
His devotion to the belief that she is a living being is 100% genuine, leaving Gus and Karen upset and confused about Lars' mental health.
Oh my God, he's Karen. We're gonna have to put him in a hospital, I think. We're gonna have to put him in a hospital. I can't afford that. Karen, I can't believe this. My little brother is totally insane.
Pull yourself together.
How am I gonna...
Gus, shh. Calm down.
How are we gonna
Calm
put ourselves
down,
together?
okay? Now.
He's talking to a doll, baby.
Shh. We just gotta get through this somehow, okay?
I just don't know how we're gonna do it.
I don't either.
Karen attempts to be supportive, where Gus doesn't want to believe what he's seeing.
Does Bianca want some?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, Karen.
Gus? No? Okay.
They both agree to send Lars to see their family doctor and psychologist, Dagmar. Dagmar plays along and diagnoses Bianca with low blood pressure as a front so that she can tell Lars that Bianca needs weekly checkups. This way, Dagmar can examine Lars on a weekly basis.
We gotta fix him. Can you fix him?
I don't know, Gus. You know, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. What we call mental illness isn't always just an illness. It can be a communication. It can be a way to work something out.
Fantastic. When will it be over?
When he doesn't need it anymore.
Word gets out around their small town about Lars and his new girlfriend. The townspeople are asked to play along and be supportive of Lars' condition, whether it be permanent or temporary.
No way. Does she have a sister?
Wish I had a woman I couldn't talk.
It's not that funny. It's not that funny.
This begins to add an almost surrealistic element to the story as Lars' undying compassion for Bianca begins to rub off on the townspeople and starts to become a means of bringing them all closer together. They start to accept Bianca as one of them, even treating her as genuinely real as Lars has been. The story continues on some very funny, sad, and emotional beats, but you'll just have to watch and see what happens. Now, believe it or not, the original idea for this film actually came to screenwriter Nancy Oliver as she was surfing the web one day and happened to come across the RealDoll.com website. After slowly developing a story in her head, she landed upon the idea of telling a contemporary fairy tale of a lonely, delusional man in his late 20s that falls in love with a sex doll. And as strange of a premise as it is, the movie does a nice job of keeping it restrained and not going too over the top with the idea. The viewer also begins to accept Bianca as an actual person based on how drastically this inanimate object affects the plot and the characters. The strange concept went on to give Nancy Oliver an Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay at the 80th Annual Academy Awards, for which she lost to Diablo Cody's screenplay for the film Juno. Ryan Gosling went on to receive a Golden Globe nomination and a Screen Actors Guild nomination, both for lead actor, for his role as Lars. But despite the endless rave reviews, Lars and the Real Girl came close, but failed to earn back its $12 million budget during its humble theatrical run, which unfortunately by definition makes it a box office flop. Now apparently when you have a movie about a guy with a sex doll, the movie flops. But say you have a movie about, a guy who has sex with an apple pie, that spawns a franchise. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you have the doll come to life and fall in love with the apple pie? I smell another billion-dollar Pixar idea. Director Craig Gillespie went on to direct his next film, the recently released horror remake Fright Night, only barely making back the film's $30 million budget. But in the case of Lars and the Real Girl's box office failure, surely it was due to the lack of the film's exposure to the mainstream public, and possibly the fact that it co-stars a sex doll sadly can turn people away automatically. But the film lives on in this DVD. The special features on the disc include the film's theatrical trailer, a behind-the-scenes documentary, one very short deleted scene, and a tongue-in-cheek look at the film's cast and crew treating the doll as one of their actual co-stars.
We never were waiting for Bianca, but she definitely had specifics that she had to go through each day in terms of putting her face on.
Now look, original concepts for films like this are few and far between these days, and when one happens to fall through the cracks every once in a while, it can be a pretty engaging experience. With that, and just getting the impression that not enough people have given this film a chance, or let alone heard of it, I'll give Lars and the Real Girl a 5 discs being a must-own movie that anyone can enjoy. Whew, okay, there you have it. Now, if you don't mind, I've got a little business to attend to. So why don't you head on over to happydragonpictures.com and check out some more DVD shelf movie reviews while I do my internet thing, okay? Alright, so, oh yeah, until next time, this one's going back on the DVD shelf. Okay, moving on. Now, got all that stuff picked out. One finished real doll. Alright, add to cart. $6,000! Well, goodbye savings.